Hey guys, what's up? This is White Boy for the win, and welcome back to Y Mega Evolved. Now, today is Wednesday, and if you guys watched my Y Mega Evolved special announcement, then you guys know that every Wednesday is going to be pretty much specials. Now, what do you mean by specials? Pretty much every Wednesday, I'm going to be talking about Pokemon that I've previously talked about in a Y Mega Evolved video and make it like a part 2 or part 3 or whatever the case may be for Pokemon that I've talked in the past, because I know there's a lot of Pokemon that I've talked about already that either are your favorite Pokemon or just that Pokemon that you don't necessarily like, and I probably fucked it up for you. So I'm going to be making Wednesdays its own like day for specials for Pokemon that I've already talked about, because I know, like I said, there's going to be some people who like really love this Pokemon but they don't necessarily agree with it, so they're hoping that I make like a part 2 for their favorite Pokemon, and that's why I'm doing this for Wednesdays. Now, I'm not going to be doing the normal intro that I normally do in like the regular Y Mega Evolved videos, considering that Wednesdays, like I said, is its own special day. So I feel like there's no reason for me to actually do the intro. And also, for the start of this series, I want to actually talk about a Pokemon that is also a fan favorite for a lot of people, including myself, and also it is very well known in the Pokemon community, which is Arcanine. So I talked about Arcanine last August, if I'm not mistaken, and a lot of you guys really liked it, and there was some of you guys who don't necessarily agree with what I actually added onto it or what I changed, because spoiler alert, I actually made it part dragon, and a lot of you guys, somewhat of you guys agreed with it, some of you guys didn't agree with it. But once again, I will post the original Arcanine video in the description box down below, so you guys can go and check it out after this video. But once again, I wanted to talk about Arcanine first, considering, like I said, it is a fan favorite for a lot of people, including myself, and I feel like that there was just so many possibilities for Arcanine. I also wanted to talk about this one first, rather than like a couple other Pokemon that I wanted to start off with. So anyways, as you can tell from what I've done to its stats, I did increase everything but left its special attack alone. Now, the reason why I left its special attack alone is because base 100, in my opinion, is actually very decent. So if you're going to want to run like a mixed attacker, or if you want to run like a special attacking offensive Arcanine, you can, because this thing, like I said, gets access to like Hidden Power, Dragon Pulse, Overheat, Flamethrower, Fire Blast, like special moves that you would normally run on an Arcanine. I mean, this thing will be able to actually do pretty decently, if I do say so myself, when it comes to being a special attacker. But most of the time, you're probably going to run like a special attacking move for like coverage. So mostly probably like Overheat, but like I said, base 100 is actually, in my opinion, very decent for a Mega Arcanine. Now, for its physical attack, I increased it from base 110 to base 165. Now, before I actually continue on about why I actually increased it that high, I do have to let you guys know that I try my hardest to actually like change it up a little bit between like the video I've done in the past and the one I'm doing now. Because, like, what's the point of doing like a part 2 or a part 3 for a Pokemon that I've done in the past when they're going to be pretty much the exact same thing and only maybe 1 or 2 things are going to get changed? I mean, obviously sometimes that's going to happen, but most of the time I don't really want to do that unless it's actually necessary. But Arcanine is just one of those Pokemon where it's actually in sense necessary, because it's kind of somewhat like similar to the one I've done in the past. Like I said, I'll leave it in the description box down below so you guys can go and check it out. But in the past, I actually had its physical attack at base 155. But in this, for this Mega Arcanine, I actually increased it from base 110 to base 165. Obviously, Arcanine is basically known for being an offensive physical attacker. I mean, this thing gets access to Extreme Speed, Flare Blitz, Wild Charge, Close Combat, Crunch. Very good offensive physical type moves that that you probably wouldn't think that Arcanine would get access to. Kind of like Close Combat. Like, it's just one of those moves that it gets access to that you're thinking, why would a Pokemon like Arcanine get access to Close Combat? But once again, base 165 I feel like will be an amazing attack stat for Mega Arcanine, because if you want to run max speed, max physical attack, you can. Or if you still want to run the defensive bulk with like Morning Sun, Toxic / Will-O-Wisp, Flare Blitz, and Extreme Speed, you can, but you won't really have the Intimidate ability on Mega Arcanine, but I'll get to that in a sec. But like I said, base 165 for its physical attack, this thing is just going to be hitting hard like a truck. Literally, this thing is just going to be doing massive amount of damage to your opponent with like Flare Blitz, Extreme Speed, Wild Charge, Close Combat, Crunch. Like, those 5 moves in general will be doing a lot of damage to your opponent. So base 165, I feel like is a very good attack stat for Mega Arcanine. Now for its defenses and also its speed, I only increased them by 15 points from base 80 to base 95 and base 95 to base 110. Now for its defenses, obviously it's not going to have the Intimidate ability for Mega Arcanine for this set I'm actually doing. I know that a lot of people are probably not going to agree with it, but you got to think about it. Arcanine does have some natural bulk behind it. It has base 90 HP, which maxes out at 384 if I'm not mistaken, and also its defenses being a base 95. Like I said, it is going to have some natural bulk behind it. I mean, is it going to live like an earthquake? Probably not, but if you're running the physical bulk, probably. I mean, there is always a chance that this thing will be able to live like an earthquake or just super effective moves in general, but most likely earthquake because that is like the most common like physical type ground type move to use. But once again, base 95 for its defenses is actually pretty decent if I do say so myself. Like I said, it has some natural bulk behind it, so it's not like it's going to get one-shotted most of the time. So that's the one thing I really like about Arcanine. It has, like I said, natural bulk behind it, so it's not going to get one-shot by a lot of things. So if you want to run like a max attack, max speed with a Jolly Nature or something like that, you can. Like I said, it's not going to be all in vain considering that, like I said, it does have natural bulk behind it. Now for its speed, like I said, I only increased it just a little bit from base 95 to base 110. Obviously, the Arcanine as itself, without the Mega Evolution being a base 95 for its speed, is pretty, I wouldn't say speedy, but it's pretty fast. Like, you gotta honestly agree that it is pretty fast at base 95, and I wanted to increase it to base 110. That way it'll be, like, I wouldn't say on par with a lot of the, like, fast Pokemon, but in sense it will, because there are a lot of Pokemon in the OU tier that have base 110 speed, and also in the UU tier where Arcanine is right now, this thing will be a very, very fast Pokemon. It will be faster than Infernape, which is a very, very common Pokemon in that tier. Because I love playing UU, and I always see Infernape on Pokemon teams, well, 90% of the time. And Infernape has like a base 108 speed. So with base 110 speed for a Mega Arcanine, extreme speed is probably going to knock it out because with base 165 physical attack. So once again, it's just that I always see Arcanine being fast, but not like overly fast, if that makes sense. So I feel like base 110 speed is actually very decent. Now for a regular Arcanine's base stats at 555, and with a Mega Evolution it's going to be at 655. Now for its ability, this is where I'm going to be telling you guys that a lot of you guys are probably not going to agree with it, but at the same time you have to actually look at it on the bright side, because I feel like Contrary is a very good ability for Arcanine, considering that the tier that it's in now, and depending if it's going to get moved out of UU into OU or probably put in Borderline. Galvantula is a very, very common Pokemon in UU, pretty much just to set up sticky webs. And with the Contrary, obviously, if you guys run like a Contrary Superior, then you guys already know how well Contrary Arcanine is going to work, because instead of having your speed decrease, it's going to get increased. And Intimidate is a very, very common ability for competitive play. And if Mega Arcanine comes across an Intimidate Pokemon like Landorus T, for an example, it's instead of getting its physical attack decreased by one stage, it's going to get increased by one stage. So you got to think that with Sticky Web, it's going to be a lot faster. With Intimidate, it's going to be hitting a lot harder. And also, it does get moves that actually lower its stats and that can actually help it out in the long run to make this thing very, very offensive, very, very bulky. And the two moves, or should I say one of the two moves, is obviously Overheat. And that's why I didn't increase its special attack, considering that with the Pokemon like Arcanine, obviously being a fire type, getting access to Overheat, instead of getting a -2 in special attack, because every time you use Overheat you lose 2 stages into your special attack, but with Contrary it's actually going to increase its special attack. So every time you use Overheat you're going to have a +2 in special attack, and so on and so forth. And I feel like that is actually a very good coverage move for Mega Arcanine. So you can run like Extreme Speed, Overheat, Close Combat, and like Crunch, for an example, and you'll be set to go, because like its main fire type stab move is going to be Overheat, and it will get increased, and special attack will get increased every time you use it. So I feel like or should I say I feel like, so leaving its special attack alone at base 100, and with getting access to Overheat plus with the Contrary ability, this thing is just going to be a very, very offensive and physical offensive threat, if I do say so myself. And also, while also having a move in the special variant like Overheat to increase its special attack, it does get access to a move which I've been saying throughout the video, which actually is going to help it out when it comes to competitive play, and that is Close Combat, because Close Combat lower both of its defenses, and that's really good in my opinion. So if you think Arcanine is a little bit frail, so to speak, you just use one close combat and your defenses are going to be increased by one stage in both of its defenses. So base 95 times 1.5, that's going to be pretty much your new defensive stats. And I'm telling you this right now, it's going to be a very bulky mon once you get off a couple of close combats. So once again, I feel like Contrary is a very good ability for Arcanine. It gets access to moves that actually benefit from it. It actually it's in a tier where like sticky webs is a thing and intimidate is a thing, and like I feel like I said, Contrary is going to be like the better ability for Arcanine. Now sadly, I know a lot of people are probably going to agree and say they probably want intimidate over Contrary, but you're going to have to look at it on the bright side. Contrary actually does put in a lot of work, if I do say so myself, if this thing does get access to Contrary for its mega ability. So that's why I've actually given it Contrary. Now for its typing, I left it alone as fire. Spoiler alert, I actually made it part dragon in the first video, but I decided to leave it alone as just fire, considering that like most of its moves that it actually is going to be using are fire type moves. And like, I know a lot of people are probably going to say, oh, you should have added the dark type characteristics to it because of its design, but we already have a fire and dark type Pokemon, which is in Houndour and Houndoom, and I know that's probably a stupid excuse considering that it does get access to Crunch, which Crunch is a very good coverage move that Arcanines do run if you're running like an offensive Arcanine like that. So like I said, I just decided to leave it alone as fire. I feel like fire is the just the better typing, standalone typing for Arcanine, so that's why I just decided to leave it alone. So anyways guys, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button. Also don't forget to comment and subscribe. Now once again, Wednesdays is its own special thing, so every week you will be getting a part 2 or a part 3 or just another part of a Pokemon that I've done in the past for Pokemon, because I know I've done Pokemon in the past where a lot of people either going to like or are not going to agree whatsoever, and they probably are waiting for me to do a part 2. So Wednesdays, like I said, is its own special day for this type of thing. So next Wednesday, we're going to be going to second gen, considering that this Pokemon that we're going to be talking about next Wednesday is a Pokemon that I've done a long ass time ago. It's pretty much when I would think first started this series, and I made it for something, and long story short, like we hate each other now or something like that, but I don't want to get too much into detail, and I wanted to actually redo this one, and it is going to be Kingdra. So next Wednesday, we are going to be talking about Mega Kingdra once again. So like I said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, and also don't forget to comment and subscribe. So this is White Boy for the win, and I'll catch you guys later.